Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible right now.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So, hello everyone. Myself, Chaitra Borkar, a Ph.D. student from IIT Delhi, and I welcome you all to the ninth live session of the NPTEL course Basic Environmental Engineering and Pollution Abatement. So, some general information before we start with this session. So, these sessions are scheduled to occur every week on Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. Until the course uh, is going on. And these live sessions link have been shared with you. These live sessions are recorded, and the recordings are made available to you through my YouTube channel. And let's start with the lectures conducted for the ninth week. So, for the ninth week, uh, the sludge management was the topic that was discussed. So, up till now, what we had seen in this course was that there are primary and secondary and tertiary and advanced treatment for the wastewater, but there is some residue which is generated from the primary and secondary and tertiary wastewater treatment processes, which is called sludge. So there is a need to manage the sludge, manage and also treat the sludge, because the sludge can have some harmful or toxic material within itself, such as toxic organic chemicals or heavy metals. So we need to first treat the sludge and also to dispose of it in a way that it does not create any pollution. So different types of sludge can be the sludge which is taken out from the primary treatment process, which is called primary sludge. Then from secondary treatment process, you can get secondary sludge. There can be mixed sludge, which is the mixture of the sludge taken from the primary and the secondary treatment, and the sludge which is taken from the tertiary processes. So also this sludge is basically what we can say that it has solids plus water which can be free or bound. So mostly the sludge solids are suspended types. And we know from the previous knowledge that total solids can be either total suspended solids and or total dissolved solids. So the total suspended solids can be either the fixed suspended solids or the volatile suspended solids. So when we say that the mostly sludge solids are suspended type, so we define the specific gravity of the sludge solids in the through this formula. So this is basically, we can say that uh, the relation can be of this type. Just a minute. So the relation can be, can say weight of sludge, okay? Sorry, weight of solids upon the specific gravity of solids, and this is density of water is equal to weight of fixed solid upon specific gravity of fixed solid into density of water plus weight of volatile solids upon specific gravity of volatile solids into density of water. So basically we are equating the volume. So this is basically volume of the solids, and this is the volume of the fixed solids, and this is the volume of the volatile solids. So if we rearrange this, we can get this formula. So this 2.5 is basically the specific gravity of the fixed solids, and one is the specific gravity of the volatile solids, which usually comes out to be these values. Uh, Next, now we know that sludge has solids as well as water. So we found out the specific gravity of sludge solids from here. Please don't get confused. This is specific gravity of sludge solids, and the specific gravity of sludge will have solid fraction of sludge and the water fraction of sludge. So based on this, so the formula here is such that we have the solid fraction and the water fraction along with their densities. So also one more thing, specific gravity is basically just to remind you that specific gravity is of a solid of any material, suppose A, will be the density of that material upon some reference density. And usually that reference density is taken to be of water. If we are talking about the specific gravity of gaseous materials, then the reference material is taken as air. So, as I had said that there is a need for sludge management. So we need to first remove treatment as well as management. So we need to first remove the toxic components such as the heavy metals or the pathogens or the organic contaminants. So there are a few directions that one can go. So first, one of the directions is that we can uh, recycle the energy that can be taken out from these sludge that we are getting. So we can either incinerate them or use thermal methods such as pyrolysis, so that the energy which is generated can be utilized in the processes in the industry. Or you can go for organic recycle such as composting, or you can go for reclamation, or you can use the sludge for environmental utilization, so that you can increase the quality of soil. So so we'll now look at the sludge treatment processes. So sludge treatment process has a number of steps. The first step is the concentration. So concentration can be done through either gravity thickening or flotation. So gravity thickening is usually done for the sludge taken from primary wastewater treatment, and flotation is usually used for the secondary wastewater treatment. So next is digestion. So here what is done is that the organic content which is there, biodegradable content, it is acted upon by microbes, whether in the presence of oxygen or absence of oxygen, and because of that this organic content is degraded into simpler molecules. Next is conditioning. So conditioning is basically done so that the dewatering is improved. So what happens is that the sludge can have some, as I had said, the sludge has water in either free or bound form. So the bound form of water which is there in the sludge, whether it can be attached to the flocks, or it can the sludge can be of gel type, which is basically a flock. So to remove that water, so we use conditioning. It can be either chemical addition or through heat treatment. And next is dewatering. So dewatering is done through processes such as centrifuging, vacuum filtration, drying beds, and heat drying. And lastly, the oxidation step is there, in which incineration of this sludge is done, or you can go for better oxidation. And finally, the disposal of this treated sludge. One of the method for the digestion is also a method called thermal hydrolysis. And when it is coupled with anaerobic digestion, it can lead to very high efficiency of solids removal, uh, or solids digestion, you can say. So here in this process flow sheet, we can see that firstly the flotation is done, then the thickened sludge is taken into the sludge pulper, and from that and from there it goes to the thermal hydrolysis reactor. And here what happens is the sludge is mixed with the steam, and then it is taken into the flash tank. And here, because of the sudden reduction in pressure, the cell walls of the solids which are present, solid material, solid species which are present in the sludge, they get ruptured. And because of this, there is a higher chances of digesting these solid materials. So you get a clear water through this also. So next is in the sludge management. For lecture 42, we saw the dewatering and drying. So these are mainly used to reduce the volume of the sludge, because sludge can be of very high volumes, and if you need to dispose it off, there can be one way to reduce the water content which is present there. So drying is basically removing the moisture content. Dewatering is the removal of the floc bound or capillary water content. And you might have heard one more term, which is thickening. How is it different from dewatering or drying? Basically, thickening does is the removal of free water which is there. And drying and dewatering are related to the removal of bound water which is present in the sludge. Next, in the dewatering equipments were discussed, and in that rotary vacuum drum filters, horizontal belt filters, filter press, and centrifuge were discussed. So the diagram here is shown for rotary drum vacuum filter, and in this vacuum is used so that this slurry is taken into this vacuum drum, and this is basically a filter drum. So the slurry is getting attached to the outer surface of the drum, and the liquid passes into this drum, while the sludge gets or the solids get attached to the outer surface, and it is rotating, and there is a knife blade here which scrapes off the filter cake which is uh, getting deposited on the outer surface. And the drying equipment discussed were the drying beds. Next, oxidation was discussed, in which wet air oxidation and incineration were discussed, followed by the disposal of this sludge. So now you have treated the sludge. How do you dispose it off? Either you can go for open dumping, you can go for landfilling, or barging it to the sea. One more method which was discussed was composting. So it is basically a very low energy requirement type of process, and it is a natural aerobic degradation process. And this also leads to reduction in the volume of the waste which is there. And the end product which you get is a humus-like material which you can use in soil, so that the nutrient content of the soil gets increased. So this process here shows the this process flow sheet shows here the incineration which is used. So you can use the sludge to you can incinerate the sludge, and you can from that the energy can be generated, which can be used for heat recovery processes. Next is the sludge management, third part for lecture 43. So in that, anaerobic digestion was discussed, and anaerobic digestion, as we have already seen in the previous lectures, is the biodegrading action of the microbes over the organic content, and in the absence of oxygen. So the organic matter is converted into either biogas, it can be hydrogen, it can be fertilizers or compost. And the steps in the anaerobic digestions are such that, firstly, the complex molecules, they can be carbohydrates, they can be proteins, or they can be peptides. So these carbohydrates, as I have written here, for example, carbohydrates are converted into simpler molecules. They can be either sugars or alcohols. So, or if it is cellulose, it can be converted into glucose. So, first step is hydrolysis, and from there it goes to acidogenesis. So here the bacteria which are acidogenic bacteria, they convert these simpler molecules into fatty acids. And then these fatty acids are converted by acidogenic bacteria into acetic acids or acetates. And then the methanogenic bacteria acts on these species of acetic acids or acetates to form carbon dioxide and methane. So the kinetics of methane production in this anaerobic digestion says that methane generation is usually the rate limiting step. But based on the type of the anaerobic digestion or the process conditions of the anaerobic digestion, different steps, which can be hydrolysis or acidogenesis or acidogenesis, they can be also rate limiting. One needs to consider that as well. Next was discussed was anaerobic digester, in which different zones are present. So here we see first there is a mixing zone, and then we get a sludge zone because of the anaerobic action. Then there is a fluid zone because sludge usually settles down, and then the biogas which is emitted because of the anaerobic action is going upwards, and you get the effluent from here. And the types of the anaerobic digesters can be low rate, in which there is low throughput rate, and high rate with high throughput rate. But the disadvantage there would be the low retention time, and the advantage for low rate will be high retention time. So lecture 44 was all about the industrial pollution control in grossly polluting industries. So the general aspects as well as the pollution control in sugar industries was looked at here. So the general aspects can be industrial emission control. So whatever you are wastewater effluents you are emitting into the environment. So how much pollutant should be in them, um, in the permissible limit. So the treatment needs to be done. So that was discussed here, and the emissions and the effluents as well. So emission into the air and effluents into the water streams. And this standard of procedures were discussed. And next, the pollution control in sugar industry was looked at. So here the different sources of wastewater, such as it can be cooling water blowdown. So cooling water is a utility used in the sugar industry plant. So the blowdown of that can be a source of wastewater. The process wastewater can be where there is this, if you can see in this process, milling train. So a lot of wastewater is generated here as well. Then evaporator tube. So this is a multi-step evaporator, multiple effect evaporator. So here also the tube cleaning can generate wastewater. So firstly, I'll discuss the process flow for sugar industry. So the sugar cane is carried through the carrier into the shredder, and it goes through the milling train so that the juice is formed, and the water flows through the counter current way. And next, this juice is taken into the mixed juice tank, and mixing occurs here. And next it is heated and treated with lime so that the pH is adjusted. And next it is taken into the clarifier because this juice will have lot of mud, it can have fibrous material, so we need to settle that. So this clarifier removes the mud and the fibrous material, and this muddy juice is taken into the uh, rotary vacuum filters, and the clear juice is taken into the multiple effect evaporators. So there are four shown here, and this basically increases the concentration of the sugar crystals. Uh, then the this uh, concentrated liquid goes into the vacuum pans, where further more concentration and evaporation takes place, and from there this massicuvite type of liquid is formed, which has sugar crystals as well as the dense liquid, which is molasses. So then it goes into the centrifuge for the separation of the sugar crystal from the molasses, and the molasses taken to the storage, which can be used in distilleries, and this sugar is then dried and then stored. So So yeah, the different wastewater streams which are there are first, earlier it was done that all these streams were mixed and then treated through the ETP plant. But nowadays the different streams are treated based on whatever the nature of these streams is. And lastly, the air and noise pollution abatement for this sugar industry was also discussed. So now we look at the sample questions for assignment 9. So the first question is the specific gravity of sludge, water plus solid. So this is for sludge, which has water as well as solid, can be calculated by. So these are the formulas given here in the options, and you need to find out which one is the correct one. So can anybody give me the answer for this? Okay, so I had discussed this earlier. So the correct option here is first option because it has solid fraction in sludge and sludge density and water fraction in sludge upon 1, which is the density of water. So the correct answer is the first option. Next question, digestion of sludge can help to either reduce the total mass of solids, destroy pathogen, make sludge easier to dewater, and all of the above. So, digestion of sludge can reduce the total mass of solids, yes, correct. It can also destroy pathogens, correct, and make sludge easier to dewater, yes, this is also correct. So, all of the above options are here, correct. Third question, the thermal hydrolysis followed by anaerobic digestion converts around this much percent of solid matter to liquids and gases. So, thermal hydrolysis is a very coupled with anaerobic digestion is a very efficient process, and the conventional aerobic or anaerobic digestion can lead to about 30 to 40% of solid matter uh, uh, conversion. But this thermal hydrolysis followed by anaerobic digestion leads to 60 to 70%. So the correct option here is 60 to 70%. Next question. Which of the given below statements is not true about the composting of biomass and waste? So the options are given here. So first is it employs natural aerobic degradation. This is true about composting. Next, it requires low energy. Yes, it requires low energy. It requires small land area. This is incorrect. This is not true about this is not true about the composting. So this option here is the incorrect one. Or you can say it is not true about composting. So this option here is the answer. Next question. Dash is not a primary product produced in the anaerobic digestion of biomass and waste. So as I have discussed, biomass can produce biogas, it can produce biofertilizer, and also because you are treating the wastewater, it can produce reusable water, but it does not produce bio oil. So the correct answer here is bio oil. Next question, identify the right option from following matching feedstocks to typical hydrolysis products. So as I had discussed that in anaerobic digestion, the first step is hydrolysis. So we need to find out what these complex molecules are converted into during the hydrolysis process. So firstly, we see carbohydrates are usually converted into sugars or alcohol. So the correct option can be either glucose or alcohol, but we also have here cellulose, which is converted into glucose. So for Q, you can match 4. And for carbohydrates, The correct option will be alcohol. So next is for protein. Protein is converted into amino acids, and peptides is converted into fats or glycerol. So the correct option here will be P3Q4R1 and S2. P3Q4R1, no, P3Q4R2, yeah, R2 and S1. So the correct option here will be this. Mm, this one. Next question. Theoretical substrate conversion rates per unit reactor volume can be estimated as. So the correct option here is the first one. So here S naught is the substrate concentration, and Umax is the maximum specific growth rate. Theta is the retention time, and Ks is the substrate concentration at half of the maximum specific growth rate. Next question, low rate conventional sludge digesters require a retention time of. So low rate conventional sludge digesters will have a very high retention time, and it can lead to up to 30 to 60 days. So the correct answer here will be 30 to 60 days. Next question, in sugar industry, the mixture of sugar crystals and mother liquor is known as. So as I had discussed during the sugar industry discussion, that the correct answer here will be masaquite. Next question, 300 cubic meters of mixed sludge at 8% solids is to be thickened to 15% solids. Assuming the specific gravity is not appreciably different from that of water, and that it does not change during thickening as well. So the specific gravity of sludge is not much different from water, and it does not even change during thickening. So what is the approximate volume of the sludge after thickening? So we need to find out the approximate volume of the thickening stream. So if we say here that this is a thickener, and this is the inlet stream of sludge, which has some concentration C1 of solids, and the volume of the feed sludge is V1, and the thickened solids are coming from here, so which can be C2 of solid concentration and V2 of the volume of this thickened solid stream, and this is the clarified stream. So this is, or you can say clarified nahi, you can say supernatant, which can have C3 concentration of solids and V3 is the volume of the stream. So if we assume that the supernatant does not have any percent of solids, and all of the solids is into the thickened sludge itself, so the C3 here we can assume to be 0. So from the material balance, for the solids we can say that C1V1 is equal to C2V2 plus C3V3. But because C3 is 0, okay, so C1V1 is equal to C2V2. So V2 we can find out from here, which is equal to C1 into V1 upon C2. So we are given the C1, which is 0.08 because 8% solids. Okay. And C2 we are given as 15%. So it will be 0.15. And V1 we are given it is 300 meter cube. So we can find out V2 from here. So V2 will be 0.08 into 300 upon 0.15. So which comes out to be about 160 meter cube. So the correct answer here is 160 meter cube. So any doubts up to this point? Anybody any doubts? Okay, so if there are no doubts, any doubt?
No, madam, no. Ma'am, can
Okay,
I get your mail ID? I am the student of SVNIT PhD, Dipali Borade.
okay.
For
So
any
what
question, any doubt?
you can post the questions on the discussion forum which is there. You can either mention me in that email in that question which you are posting on the discussion forum, or you can ask it to anybody. Anybody can answer your question if there is any doubts. You can post it on discussion forum. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am, okay.
If you
Can you
have
guide
any
us
question,
further?
if you have any
If,
question right now, you can ask me.
no, ma'am, this I had seen the videos also of Mondal sir in that NPTEL video also,
Okay, okay,
and I got explanation from you also.
okay.
So it is okay. For I wanted your mail ID for further references for if any of the problems are there in my PhDs or at that time I wanted your mail ID for contacting you. Can I get that?
Uh, okay. I mean, I can send you my email ID, but I can't say it here. So,
Yeah. Okay.
if you wait for some time, I can let you know after I mean, officially
And
end
this.
the session. Okay,
Okay.
just a
Okay.
minute.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Okay. Okay. I understood.
Okay, so if there are no further questions, so I'll go ahead and end the session for today.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.